Hey everyone, welcome back to Transport Fever 2 and welcome back to Errors. We are in the town of Ashford looking at our derelict tunnel that we made last time. Passenger train is pulling out there on our right hand side and there's a bit of a plane in the air. Really love how this turned out. I think it really brings the area to life. What we did last episode is across here we continued the railway line that we made a couple of episodes ago. Out to this grain mill place, and actually you can see our train that we've put in last time heading off, and extended it down this way to feed livestock into our abattoir, which is what this is. This place takes in cattle, livestock, and outputs meat, and we're going to be finishing that production chain today. We have two options here. We could try to use the train and go down this way and out that way, but I'm actually going to treat this line as derelict, and we're just going to use the cars instead, and we'll drive down here, and we'll leave this to be in disrepair as it goes past the beautiful farm meeting village area and the church, and goes down the line here, and then curves off to the right and the left. So to the right, as you saw at the start, this side's got the dung heap on it, and this side's got a bricked up wall, and then on the left hand side it's definitely overgrown, and it goes out into the main line, and as you can see with the rusty tracks, it's not used very often. One of the things I did try to do was bring this line across and join the other derelict line that we have over here, but the grade of this bridge mixed with the environment meant that I just couldn't get it across. There's just no way of getting it down this hill right here. If I turn around, yeah, this hill here is quite steep, and there's just no way of getting the train down here with lots of bridging. So yeah, so I kind of gave up on that. So then the question is, how does this train line work, and more importantly, where are we going to put the meat processing plant? And I think the answer to that is over here on the right hand side, and I'm actually going to mix it in with probably a little bit of a medieval village. When we're doing this type of processing, you can see over here we are taking in a raw good, in this case it was fish from over here, adding it to paper and then turning it into bread. And I want to do the same thing over here. I want to get the meat, add it to paper and make it into bread. And we're just doing it in a little custom building. So this medieval building is the person doing the work. And so this is like a fishmonger or a fish and chip shop. Actually, it's called the fish and chip shop. And I want to do the same thing over there and make a butcher. But the first thing to get right is, where is this train line going to be? Paper is going to have to come in. Is this the paper train? Yeah, this actually is the paper train. And so you can see how it comes in and goes over here. So it drops paper off here for this guy, which uses paper secondarily to wrap food and put it onto pallets and then put it out as goods. But I also want to have paper available over here. So what I'm thinking is that the paper will come in here or that way, either way, clockwise or anti-clockwise, and will go around the town and come out. So yeah, so what I want to do is get probably a curve on the track there, across here, and then up here. So what I am wary of, and what we were able to achieve over here, is I want the track to somehow join the main line. And so to do that, it's going to have to come across and join probably somewhere over, at least over here somewhere. And so I can't see how, if I went on the left-hand side of the road, which might be an easy way across or through town, because there's less of this to deal with, I don't know how that would loop in. Yeah, I think I'm tempted to go more out here on the right-hand side. So one thing I do know is tracks don't like going across intersections right close, see, like that. But I think if I go 2 tracks wide, I think this becomes a spot that's plausible. Unfortunately, it does seem to want to lift the road up a bit. So I think if we play with the level, we can make it not as egregious. And so I think that looks pretty good. We'll go down. Oops, I can't do that much. Nope, I've lost it. Yeah, I think about there is okay. Too much slope. I'm not sure where the slope is complaining, but maybe it's towards that direction. But we can deal with that by deleting that and coming out flat. And then I think if we just continue to come along here, and then we should be able to just curve this in, and we've solved that part of the equation, so that works. And then let's continue this way, and what I want to do is actually scoot across to the road, because I do want to go across this bridge kind of connected, so I want those two to match, and then we'll join those two. I think that looks pretty good. The grade's not too bad, and I think those two look pretty good together. I think what we should do is put in a whole lot of stones, and we'll do some randomization. We'll say collision is okay, and I'm just gonna fill this area up, particularly where the reeds are. I'm going to try to really give this bridge some underpinnings. I'm pretty sure boats don't go past this point. No, the last boat point is back here at our diorama that represents some type of industry. So yeah, we can definitely fill this in. I'm trying to get it under the bridge, make it sure it's really plausible. And then same thing this side. And the ones that are weird, we can just press delete on it, and that one's alright. This actually needs a little bit more under there. And yeah, that's okay. Yeah, this one's obviously not good. But that one's good. That one kind of really sits there nicely. And there's one here. I can see it sticking through the bridge. I don't want that one. And that one's okay, I think. Alright, so we need to go out here somewhere. So I think what I'm going to do, I wonder if this fence is going to survive. I'm probably just going to cut my losses and treat it more like an angle like that. I think I could probably do that right now, actually. I think I can redesign this and just say from there to there. And we'll see how it goes. Now, we do have a real road here. I put this down just for texture reasons. We'll get rid of that because that will just confuse things. And that one should be okay. It shouldn't get in the way. I think that should be okay. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is this point right here. So if we can come out level and kind of skirt where that fence is, I think that might be a good plausible way through here. And out of interest, if I do that, okay, that's not too bad. So yeah, 47, that's a valid curve. These wood bridges do a really good job of hiding a curve. The problem with the metal ones is the each segment kind of is a rectangle, and so when the two rectangles touch each other, they make these little triangle gaps. But I think that looks, you know what, that looks okay, I think. You know what, I'm going to commit to that. As for the colour of the bridge, I am liking this dark colour, and I am liking how the footings hit down there. I am tempted, though, to bump it up a little bit more on this side. Yeah, and how's this look under here? Yeah, probably a bit more there. I don't like these guys sitting on there. And yeah, we probably need a bit more. I think this is one of the few cases where you probably can't do too much. Yeah, so we have kind of blocked the river. So let's get rid of some of these so that the sense of the water can get through. And actually, I might even... I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to see if I can... Yeah, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. That was a bit risky. That's one of those things where you might not be able to undo the damage. But I do want to make it so that the water can get through. I'm going to put a big rock. Up you come. Right there. And yeah, I think that's okay, I think. Yeah. I think that will be fine. Yeah, so from a color point of view, we've got there's white over there, you can see. We have white. It's just too bright. We have the brown. Brown, this looks a little bit boring. I think I'm tempted to do the black. It looks like when I did that, you know what? I'm going to change the bridge, and let's see if that makes the feet reset again. So they can see how they're kind of floating. Yeah. So I think I might just need to put another big rock. There. I should rotate this. It would probably make it more sense. And rotation. Now, obviously, this is way too much effort being put in here for something you won't see, but yeah, that's fine. All right. So that gets it across and explains how it kind of joined the main line. Now, let's go across. You know what? I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to press save. Give me a sec. Save acquired. All right, so let's see how we can curve this in. So I would like to go across this road quite steep because I'm not a fan of crossings that are like at a really wide angle. I think that's okay. So how close did we get to the creek? Probably a bit more than I like. So now that we know that's the spot, let's see if we can really avoid this slope. And that seems to be pretty good. It got a little bit close to that fence, but that fence is probably going to get tossed anyway. I think around there looks pretty good. And then these fences, there, they need to go. So let's bring this back a bit. And this one definitely needs to get changed. And let's put a fence in here. That makes sense. I think we can let the farmer have maybe something like this, actually. Yeah, I think that from a farmer point of view makes sense. And then over here, just from the general public point of view, you know what? It's probably going to be a white fence rather than, yeah, it's probably going to be a white fence rather than a one of those. So this is going to be a single track with side gates, and we're going to protect people like that. And yeah, and then we'll put in the fences across here. Pretty 90 degrees. Yeah, right there. I'm trying to work out where 90 degrees is. Where's a nice post over here that matches that one? Finish, and then this will go like this. We'll go an arc, and I think I'm going to go like this, and then we'll finish that off like this. This will be a good little area for a picnic or something, I think. And then I think I'm actually going to arc this around and help people not hurt themselves on the road. Yes, it's kind of hard to get right. I want to be really close to the pavement, to the curb. And how far am I going? And then this is a straight line road up here. And actually, this may actually work out well because we should have a crossing over here on here as well. So we'll change this to one track side gate, and we'll continue this concept this way. Can I arc that in? If it arcs, you know what? Done. Not too shabby. Do I want to put something in here? Probably not. Yeah, you know, I'm tempted to put in stone walls instead of 100%. No, actually, it might go 200%. Make these pretty big. You know what? I'm just going to press finish and just do like that and like that. And yeah, I really need to get this down the hill. I think that's okay. I think, yeah, this first one's a little bit wonky. So we'll go there and down to there. And I think these nettles are a little bit excessive. Let's like clean that up a bit. Yeah, I like the idea of reopening these abandoned lines. I think we probably can get rid of the nettles on there, but I think maybe we should leave some hanging around the verges. And definitely fill in that a bit more, and just a bit more. And undo that mistake right there. And yeah, I think that's okay. Let's undo this side as well. So bring up the strength, bring up the size a bit. And we will leave them around a little bit. I don't want it to be perfect. And cool. I'm okay with that. I think that looks pretty good. And if we want, we can put the fence on that side as well. In here, let's see if we can quickly put in a playground. Now I have to remember where the playground is. Is it under this one? Nope, nope. It's going to be under... where is the playground stuff by Ingo? Ingo. It's something that's quite long. Here it goes. Playground complete. This is what I want. So, yeah, you know what? I like that angle. We'll do a little bit of a twist. Put that there. And then, what type of underbrush do I want? Do I want like a straw today? Yeah, I think that's okay. And we'll finish it off with some plant life. Something pretty simple. I do like this autumn stuff. I've been using it probably more than I should. And I think that's pretty good. So yeah, the kids can sit there and watch the trains and become new train aficionados. And then, you know, as much as this isn't really needed because it's inside the track, I think I will continue it from a consistency point of view. And we'll just go from there to there to there, arc it in, just to make sure that nobody by mistake is playing where they shouldn't be. So yeah, it looks pretty good. From a speed point of view, we should put a speed thing on here. So the speed of that corner is 40 something. So we'll use the Queensland, I think it's Queensland sign mod. Type SIGN to find it. Why didn't that work? There it goes. And we'll be going 40 and then onto the main line. What was the speed onto the main line? Is 50. So we'll go to the left will be 50. Oh, so to the forward will be 50 and to the left will be 40. And yeah, pretty cool. And do we want to say so we're going to do it on the right hand side, and then we'll get rid of the bottom one, and I think that can go like that, even though it's not really ever going to happen. So yeah, if they do go down there, realistically, the only way it would happen is you normally would go forward or across and out. I suppose this can be bi-directional, these platforms, so they could go that way, I guess. We're not going to do anything like that in reality, though. pretty cool. I was just debating whether we want more stones, because that's not what I wanted. You know what? Those stones can actually do that, and then trees can do that, and pressing B rather than V, and I think we are pretty close to the point where we can move on and actually get our production made. And come on, paint. Yeah, I am happy with that. You know what? And I'm going to shove in one of those for no good reason and get rid of... Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's move across the road. So it's going to be like this, and we want to head probably pretty parallel through here. So I'm going to try to hit that at 90 degrees. I think it's 90 or close enough to it. We'll go across here flat, and then I'm going to come in here horizontal, and we'll put a station in. I think the station can be pretty basic. Let's go with a basic platform. I don't think it even needs to have a passing lane, quite frankly. I think it can just be something like that. Yeah, probably. Let's configure this and make it look a lot older. And we'll use the weathered ones. I'm only going to make it 80, I think. How long is this one over here? Is this one? This is 1, 2... Well, this might be 160, actually. You know what? I will make it at least 120 then. And we'll put on platforms, and I think we'll go with this boring ones, and I think that will do. And then to make it so that it unloads, we will just put on a cargo one like this. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. And then we are going to be delivering that meat through the road system over from here, so we will need a depot. I think what I might do is butt up the depot in there, or maybe in here. So let's try to do that. Let's try with our favorite one first, this one. Yeah, something like that. And what I might do is the exit. Is there a negative one? How do I want to do this? So we could try to do something like this. Stop trying to move. And we'll turn that off, turn that off. Actually, it would be asphalt, high capacity, no sign. And I think something like that, and we'll need a footpath connection so it joins the station. Yeah, I think that looks okay. And then we'll make it wrap around the building. So the building is going to be, where's my medieval buildings? Is it this one? These are just like big ones. Ooh, we have a problem. We should check that out. You know what? I'm going to check that out, because that could be a bigger problem than I want. You are trying to... Why is there a passenger train in there? What are you doing in there? You're no kidding. And you've got grain. You're meant to be coming in. That makes sense. The pity is this thing's got a fence on it. So if I don't think I can on a road do that. If I turn you round, yeah, you go the other way. You know what I'll do is I'll get them to go forward. And what I did do between episodes is see how the route's towards me. I've made this risky one way. So if I do that and change, I'm just going to put a signal up here that says it is one way, yes. That should stop anybody who is doing that. And then how's this guy going? You can go around the loop, and then you should stop. Nope, you've got control of the track because there's no signals in any of this part. And I assume what's happened is the grain train's just going to pull forward. Yeah, it's just going to wait right there until they're gone. What I might do from a safety point of view is I'll put this up here instead. And that way they can move forward, and that way it won't ever be over the points. And then you can come out and fly out. All right, that's that chaos done. Let's go back here and find a medieval building we can use to treat as a butcher. All right, so medieval, where is that? Is here, this one. All right. It's probably just going to be a pretty simple building. I want something that's quite big. Yeah, these are more like kind of a little bit more hotel-y. But I think I'm okay with that. Could be kind of cool to say that this type of estate is the reason. So yeah, I'm going to put that there. I think it's cool. And then from a road point of view, I'm going to continue this out the back. Do we have one-way roads? We do. So I'm going to, yeah, I'll pull this out and then we'll reverse it. And I'm going to pull it in there, and same thing again, reverse it. So yeah, that's how they get into there, and they'll drop off there. And then what we do need, actually I've cut the back corner off of that, so let's try that again. So out this way, and then more like this. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's okay. And then the last thing we need is our industry. So, freestyle industry. We will be accepting meat, which I believe is down the bottom when it's actually at the top. We'll be adding paper to it. And then with those things, we'll be producing food. And what happens is you get a stockpile of the bread, well, sorry, of the meat and the paper. So I'm actually going to have that modeled. So sometimes I hide it within the building, but I don't think I can hide it within this one. So I'm going to put this actually on the road right here. And, or do we want to put it over here by the station? I might put it over here by the station. Let's do a rotation. And the stockpile can be out here. And something like that. There's enough space on the right hand side to not cause any troubles. And this is going to be the Ashford. Should we just call it the butcher? Yeah, Ashford Butcher. And we'll call this one the Ashford Butcher, and the building itself will be that too. So these buildings, actually become destinations. And so when you open up a town, for example, like this, under destinations, you'll actually see these things turn up as places that people would want to travel to. So you can see like Smallfield Church right there. So 5 people want to go from Ashford, and they want to travel all the way to the church over here at Ashford, right? So they'll take the train across. And here's an example of what we're going to try to do today. So actually, here's the building I used. What I want to do is put down a little medieval town. So I put in these four or five things plus the church, and then allow the town to grow around it. But I want to give it like an old vibe, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good. The town did this road. I think that's okay. It's kind of weird, but it just gives a city us a little bit more of a different character than what you get with the default stuff. So let's do that. You know what? Let's get the goods moving. So from here, the car part of this. So they'll come in here and load up on this weight thing, and then they'll come out, go across the road. We want to go down here and come across. I'll put the, we'll click on this thing. Which way did they drive? So they decided to drive with everybody else down through the traffic. I'm actually going to get them to come this way. We have under waypoints some British stuff. So let's, how can I do this? How about, I should be able to put one there. Where should a post box be? Yeah, I think a post box can be on this corner. I think that makes sense. And that should force them to go around that way. And on the way back, I want the same thing. So we'll put a post box maybe somewhere on this road. How about we put it right there? We'll put it kind of maybe more towards the end here and associate it with all these businesses. So these businesses have somewhere where they can put their letters. Was that the right road? That was it. Maybe I want to go on the outside road, actually. Well, I'll leave it there, and then we'll put one of those out here. So waypoints. The other way we can do it is this LMP one is invisible, so I might use this invisible one, and we'll just put it there. Right, that line. So from the Ashford cargo station, let's change this color to maybe light pink, which is like the color of the meat. And we will say that when you're coming this way, go around, and please stop at that place. That fix that problem. And then on the way out, rather than coming through town and causing extra busyness, can you please come out, and we'll put it on this point. So there, it goes around nicely. All right, so this thing is the Ashford Busher truck depot. No, that's cool. Yeah, Ashley Busher's fine. I was renaming. Is the name of that the same name as the station? So, but that's fine. And cool. So in theory, does everything touch? So that goes white, and by virtue that goes white, and that's where everything's going to come from. Let's get some stuff on here. We have our local depot down here by our grey mill. Doesn't that look cool? Did this in the second episode, and I think it's still one of my favourite things that we've done so far. Lodestone Depot. Is this actually called Lodestone? This should be called... Yeah, we put this down before Ashford was made. I'm actually going to rename that. So the Lodestone Road Depot... You are now going to be called the Ashford Road Depot. And where's that other second one? So I saw a number 2. Where are you? Where are you? I don't know where that is. All right, the Spice and Vehicles. They are going to be moving meat. Cargo, and so it looks like it's just going to be a standard truck. We are going a fair distance. We'll get some speed up. There's a lot of, these are red, kind of the same thing. I think we'll go with this. And so let's go with 5 of those, and they can get put on if we scroll in and use our eye tool onto what's called a line 1, and let's rename a line 1. So it's going to be road cargo Ashford meat, I think, and away they go. And so in theory, these guys should be putting stuff onto here. This mod does not have animation, but there is 7 things on the terminal. And I rate it at 36. We're probably going to have to double that. You know what? Because we know that it's going to be 100 in. So let me get it up to 100. And I will tell it to wait, though. And yeah, I think the only thing missing right now is the grain is happening at 100. I'm pretty sure we ship the grain, well, it's actually only 78, and the livestock is only shipping 41 right now. Okay, we're going to have to play with that. We may have too many people on here, but the goal will be to get 100 worth of grain over to the livestock, 100 to the livestock to here, and then 100 from here down to here. Let's work out this train line. We haven't finished this off. I think if we go out a little bit, and we probably will let it drop down. Let me do a 45-ish corner. And I guess, how's that road going to treat us? Pretty good. You know what? That's actually not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Paper train. Do we want to go clockwise or anti-clockwise? Let's go clockwise. So, Ashford Sidings. Also go to the Ashley Butcher. It does want to do a U-turn rather than going around, but that's fine. We can play with waypoints for that. Let's use these ones that cause it to whistle. Yeah, let's whistle there. Whistle there. And you know what? I'm going to whistle before as we go over that bridge. And we'll whistle over here as well. So I won't use all of those as waypoints, but as in places, but I will have the whistles there just so we hear it, and we'll choose this whistle as the direction, and around it goes, and then out onto the network. I'm highly tempted to make this other one also go around the loop, maybe with a bypass, but yeah, that's probably a future thing. Let's smoothificate this, because that definitely doesn't need to be too bumpy. Same thing around here. And what are you? Are you... Yep, you are one of these. So let's go into normal speed and watch one of these paper trains. Looks a little bit dirty. Probably need to turn maintenance on that. Maintenance only matters if you want to worry about the emissions in town, and we're not really in that part of the game at this point. Yeah, so this guy probably is going to under-service. We probably don't have anywhere near the paper that we are expecting. That looks cool. How's the length? You know what? That looks cool. Did we reach at the back? Get there in time? No, we did not. It is a 160. We probably can fix that. We probably can fix that. But that curve up there was quite steep anyway. Tracks, platforms, and it was the half one. And we should be able to do that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. And yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm thinking about putting some signals on it. Oh, slow down, slow down. I want to have a ride through our new abandoned road. So let's go, yeah, probably on the right hand side, and we'll watch how this goes around. Past our little playground, nice and tight. Whistle, warning everybody that we're coming. Alright, we've got some undergrowth here. Might just leave it for now. Yeah, we need to put some fences there for safety. And around the loop. Actually, I like the embankment there on the right hand side. Oh, look at that long... Alright. Once that guy goes, we will let that... Yeah, that's going to have to get fixed. So we'll do that, get rid of that bit, and then you know what? I'm tempted to go from bridge to bridge here, because that should mean it's flat. Yeah, and then we delete. And done. Yeah, so that should make that a little bit less of a problem. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And then off they go around the loop. Where are the signals around here? Okay, there's one back here. That's fine. That works. And there's a passing lane here, but I don't think this is being thought out very well. I think what I'll do is let that guy go. And then what we're going to do is bring this like that. Yeah. Simple as that. So if they want to go that way, they can, but it's after the signal. Something like that. So that means that they should stay wide, and yeah, that's a bit smoother. Okay, cool. All right, let's finish this episode off by making a bit of a medieval town. And yeah, just choose some of these and keep placing them. I think, are we on the grid? Oh, we're not. We did rotate it, so we'll have to play with that ourselves. Just making sure that on the right-hand side there, that tendril still works, which it does. Unfortunately, the height's a bit off. So I wonder if there's something small that we can put in there that's not going to show the tendril off as bad. Let's put that. Where's the tendril? Okay, tendril's out the front. And let me put that like that. And then this one's got like a thing. Actually, this road here is not straight. You know, it's even better than that. Let's just make it a normal road, and then we'll build out here. Yeah, and then that can just be a private road in there. So it's going to be like that. Yeah, that works. And yeah, keep on putting stuff down. I like this one. This one's nice and long. I'm tempted to put that over here. Yeah, all the rotation's kind of weird around here. Make sure those tendrils work, because otherwise people won't come visit. Get rid of that tree. And keep going. I suppose we can make it just so it's kind of like going around the corner here. I can't really get a 90-degree one in there cleanly. So we'll put that one there and try to get the rotation pretty good. And what else we've got? You know, we should have we got a church around here? We don't. I'm going to bump this one up to like 140, 150%. And we will put it in... Where's the entrance? Where's the entrance? It's this side. So I'm going to get this in here, and we'll make it so it doesn't touch the back of the... over here. So we'll put that right there. Does it need a twist? Say no. And I'm going to bring it to the left as far as I can. Right there. I like that. And then under trees, I'm definitely just going to put down a whole lot of these to give this area some colour. And I think around the back here would be nice as well. And make it nice even. Out of interest, does this guy have anything left in him? Has some food. Actually, that's a good point. So this thing does touch some of the town. So the food, all right, so the food will go to the platform. Yeah, so this food that gets created, it's going to end up spawning over here. But interestingly, it doesn't reach those. So what that will mean is it will go onto the Great Western Network and the train network, but I don't think it means it would jump across to one of those to be delivered around town. So we may need to do something to do with local delivery at some point. And yeah, this is definitely something where I could play with this for a while to make it kind of look really nice. I think that looks good. We'll go along there. It's really tempting to follow the trend line. Can I? Can I? Come on. There it goes. And that one kind of... B and V, I swear. And around... Now we are going to have to deal with this slope. So what I might do is actually go this way. And we're going to do this. And hopefully that doesn't look too bad. No, that's fine. Yes, there we go. Bit of a way around town. And hopefully the town folk will enjoy this area. Should we get some medieval stuff on this side? I think we should. Do we want a road first, though? I think I will. I think I'll put this one there. And then, actually, if I'm trying to make a nice 90-degree corner somewhere, you might be able to get a corner asset in. So is there a nice corner place like this? Yeah, the curve of these roads doesn't help. So what I might do is line it up more over here. And then we'll get a road in here somehow. I probably can play with this and do that. And I think I can do this, yeah. Nice. And then more trees. And you know what? That was awesome. Let's put that right there. And we'll do some smaller ones across here. And let's change this so it's like that. So hopefully that will make some growth. You can go a little bit over the board here by putting too many things down. Oh, that one's huge. Look at that. I think we're kind of close to saturation at this point, because I would rather the town actually put in stuff at this point. Out of interest, does that fit in there? I don't think it does. No. But last one. All right. So there you go. We have our little medieval town centered around the Ashford Butcher. I will rename the church, because if you don't rename it, I don't believe people go to it. We'll call this the Ashford Church, and this will become a destination, much like we saw other people going from here across to the Smallfield Church. It gives us a little bit more activity. And look at that. Talking of which, Roy Brown is going into there to doing... Okay, they treat it as a commercial building, but they went in there to do stuff. Cool. And look, and out the back here, we have a whole lot of meat that is turned up. And then these guys, are you going to the church as well? Oh, no, they're going to the butcher. Hey. Yeah, so they're going to the butcher. So yeah, it seems like the butcher has become a little bit of a destination for the town. So the church there's 5 people going to the church. So see how it's got the freestyle industry? This is the butcher. So if I click on this, see this is a bug. I've noticed this throughout the gameplay. So when they're coming to these things to work, so these industries down the bottom actually have oops, what am I doing? Configure. Where is it? Oh, yeah, up here. Number of employees. So, oh yeah, we didn't set the level. So this should be 100. So meat, 100. And we'll have 20 employees. 1. And done. And stockpile. Oh, that's the thing we were doing at the front. Yep. So yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, unfortunately, these don't get renamed when they are an industry rather than an asset to do with like these things that we've placed. I think with this guy driving in with a whole lot of meat, we'll call out the end of the episode. Don't forget to press subscribe and make sure that you shove a like on the video. And tell us what you would like to see in this series. From this point forward, I'm pretty vague about my plans, so feel free to suggest something, and quite frankly, I probably will do it. I think the primary thing I want to do right now is move to the north and get a coal industry going, something that maybe we can use to represent a power generation facility or something, but that's going to be next time. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time in the Errors.